Hey saddle hunters, thanks for tuning in to watch another video. In today's video, we're going to talk about the much anticipated platform from Cruzr, the Seeker. This is a brand new, unique style platform from Cruzr. It has a sloped front, which is its biggest feature. We haven't seen that before. So what we're going to do is a quick tabletop review. We're going to put it down, give you some real world weights on it. I'm not going to go over measurements because you can get online and read those if you want. And then we're going to take it outside. I'm going to show you, how it works on a tree, how it holds up to side pressure. We're going to throw it on a couple different size trees, see how it reacts to that, and then give you some final conclusions. So stick with us. This is a neat product, and I'm excited to show it to you. All right, so I'm going to give you a close-up of some of the features here of the Cruzr while we got it on the table. You can see that it's a cam action style platform with the pivoting post, just like the Predator. It has what seems to be an anodized aluminum bracket, just like the Predator. One single bolt to hold that on. It's a cast platform. It has an integrated button on the post there. This is rather unique. They've kind of skeletonized the post to save on weight. I'm sure it's still plenty strong, I-beam design construction. I like that feature a lot. You can see, a lot of guys have asked about this, but there is an adjustment bolt on the bottom of it. Exactly the same style as the Predator. You just twist it. You can see I have pretty thin fingers, and that's a tight fit to get around that bolt. So you're going to have to take gloves off if you're trying to adjust that in the winter time. The bottom of the post here is where the bolt attaches or hits rather. You can see there, I've got a couple of nerd marks, I guess you might call them, from the bolt. So I would recommend go to the Dollar Tree and get a packet of furniture pads for the bottom of chair legs and stuff like that. Put one right there. They're just adhesive. I've had them on my Predator for years, and they hold up just fine. There is an extra tooth though. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teeth on each side, and that extra tooth seems to make a very practical difference, and I'm going to show you that later in the video. So that's just kind of an overview of the platform. You can see on the top there, give you a side view, those are very aggressive traction pieces on the top of this platform where your boot goes. So your boots grab really, really good. You can get an idea of the angle of the platform front there as well. So that's just an overview of the platform itself. It ships with a 7-foot cam buckle strap. To be honest with you, I've not been super impressed with this strap. You can see I'm starting to get some wear on it already, and I've only been using it for probably about a week now. It just, I've been using a Lone Wolf strap on my Predator for years, and I don't have that much wear on it. So that's just something to be aware of. I don't think the long-term life on this is going to be great. It's probably, from a safety standpoint, it's probably fine, but it just looks a little cheap when that kind of stuff happens. It's a 7-foot strap that it ships with. Let me show you how I typically attach these straps to the platforms to carry them, and for me it works really, really well. You just loop it around the post there, close the platform, and then I come around the post, and on this platform I just give it 2 wraps, and I take the end of it there and I hook it over the post. Hopefully you can see that, and then I just cinch it down tight, and that keeps the whole thing nice and tight, doesn't flap around, doesn't make any noise, works really, really well. So last thing I want to do before we take it outside and put it on a tree is give you a weight and show you how much the platform weighs. Okay, you can see the scale is zeroed, and we go ahead and put the platform on the scale with the strap. 4 pounds, 14.8 ounces. So that's a consistent weight. I've been getting that over and over again. Let me take the strap out and give you a bare weight without the strap. So let's get a weight without the strap. 4.5 pounds. 4 pounds, 8.4 ounces. One more thing I want to do before we take it outside that I forgot. I want to show you just the size of the footprint of this platform compared to the Predator, which a lot of guys are familiar with. So there's the Cruzr, and here is the Predator. You can see it's a little bit deeper and probably about 2 inches wider on each side. Get it lined up square there. So that should give you an idea of size reference. It's also several inches deeper. So quite a bit larger than the Predator, but it's also 50% heavier. So let's take it out and put it on a tree now, and we'll give you some thoughts outside. All right, so I've got the platform set up on the tree here. I'm going to climb up, move the camera a little bit closer, give you some close-ups of how much room my feet have on the platform and just some of the features of it. So let's do it. All right, so I'm standing up on the platform, and just for reference, these are the boots I typically hunt in. They're size 11 lacrosse rubber boots. You can see I've probably got my feet 4 or 5 inches apart, and they're about right on the edge of the platform. So pretty good amount of room to spread your feet out. I have found that I don't have any trouble maneuvering around this platform. There's tons of space to move. To me, this is a good balance between size and weight. I never bought the Mission because I didn't want to lug around a 6-pound platform, but if you want a little more room than, say, the Predator, this I think is a perfect balance between weight and size. So plenty of room to maneuver around there. Let's lean back into it. What I like about the slatted front is that I can lean comfortably without having a lot of pressure on an isolated part of my foot. So I don't lean a whole lot on my Predator. I mostly sit. So when I sit, I set the platform completely level. I don't typically angle it downward at all like a lot of leaners do. So for me, this is a really good platform for my hunting style, because if I occasionally want to lean for 10, 15, 20 minutes, a half hour, whatever, I don't have to worry about my ankles being in this real jacked up angle because my platform's flat, right? I can just move my feet out onto the angle. Now I have a good natural angle to my legs and my feet that's comfortable, and my pressure is distributed across a wider area than if I was just standing on the edge of a platform. So for my hunting style, this is going to work really, really good. I like that feature a lot. The traction on the top is really aggressive, grabs the boots nicely. I've never used a platform with that much traction on it before. So for you guys that are concerned about slipping, or you hunt around a rain or snow, ice, that kind of thing, this would be a really good platform for you to use. But you can see plenty of room. Hopefully you can get an idea there of how much of my foot is supported by the angle. This is a good platform as far as size goes, and I really like the angled front. I think it adds a lot to the package. So let me take the platform off now, and I'm going to put it on a really big tree and then some smaller trees, and we're going to see how it reacts to side pressure and how you can, if you can, shoot 360 degrees around various size trees with this platform. All right, so I've got the Seeker here. We're going to throw it on a couple different diameter trees, and I want to show you guys a little bit about how easy it is to get around the tree and then how it functions. Can we position ourselves to shoot 360 degrees on a variety of diameters? You know, how stable is it on different diameter trees? Those types of things. So let me just show you here. This is a pretty large tree. I'm going to guess it's about 2 feet across in diameter. So we're going to get the Seeker unwrapped here, and I prefer to pass the platform around the tree and then grab it with my other hand. See, it's a little bit of a challenge on a tree this big, but you can still do it. Rope's plenty, or the strap rather, is plenty long enough to do that. Get pulled up nice and flat here. And this is kind of a, you can see the bark flakes off this tree pretty easy. So to give us an idea of how it bites, but cinch it down, seat it, cam it over. Seems to have bitten pretty good. Let me jump up on it here. My tether a little bit higher. All right. So there's a platform on a large tree. It seems to bite pretty square. You know, most of the teeth, every single one of them, except the two inmost teeth on each side are contacting the tree, so it looks like you've got 3 teeth on each side that are biting and making solid contact with the tree. I mean, right here, it seems pretty solid. No noticeable side to side wiggle whatsoever. You can spin around on it pretty easily. Feels very stable. Let's put some side pressure on it. That squeaking is from the bolt hitting the post. So let me give you an idea while we're at it here of how easy it is to shoot from this platform. So this is a big tree. And obviously my strong side shots over here, very easy to take. Very easy platform to make movements on. You know, just like that I can shoot to, golly, 2. I can spin around like this, shoot to noon, and my foot feels very, very stable. Those angles are probably, I'm gonna guess 3 inches, but between the angles and the grip on the top of the platform, man, it's very solid to spin around and shoot, take weak side shots. Come around this side. I often like to put my knee against the tree for a little extra brace. Now, I do wonder, did you hear that noise? My boot pivoting on those grips? I wonder, you know, if that's an issue. If that platform was flat, my boot probably would have spun a little bit easier and there wouldn't have been that noise. So that might be something to be aware of. Might be a downside to those traction areas. But I can come around here, shoot very easily to 12, you know, everything from 9 to 12, even come around and probably shoot to 1 o'clock fairly easily. So even on big trees, I think you can do 360-degree shooting on the platform. Like I said, the grip seems to work very well. I do just wonder though, you know, you can see that if you keep your foot flat and twist, you get a little popping noise. Just something to be aware of. So let me take it off now. I'm going to put it on a real small tree and we'll evaluate that. All right, so here we are on a small tree. This is a tree that I can about get my fingers around just like that. So really small, and some guys may look at it and go, who in the world hunts trees that small? Well, if you're in swamps and marshes and stuff like that, oftentimes small trees that are about that big at hunting height may be all you have to climb. So I find myself in trees like this a lot, so this is going to be a test for me. And you'll notice I'm wearing different clothes and we're in a different woods because I've had some issues with this platform not handling side pressure real well on small trees. And so I've had to try a variety of things, reached out to Cruzr. They gave me a suggestion. I'll give you guys a close-up of this, but it seems like the bolt that connects the post to the standoff is slightly too long and can cause a contact with the tree and cause it to be a little bit unstable and not bite as well as it probably should. So they suggested taking that bolt around and flipping it so that the head of the bolt is closest to the tree. So I've done that. Now I'm gonna get up, we're gonna do some typical movements around it. To give you an idea, to start here, on a tree this diameter, and I've probably put it on 6 now, about this size, the exact opposite happens of the big tree. On the big tree, the last 3 teeth bit, but the inner 2 didn't. On this one, it's just the first 2 teeth on each side making contact. So just be aware of that. Let me climb up here and get hooked in. All right, so I'm up on the platform now. I want to do a couple different things over the next couple minutes here. I want to show you how you can use this platform to position around a tree, whether it's a small tree or a big tree, as well as how you can shoot 360 degrees around a tree. So a couple different ways to do this. Shooting 360 degrees off a platform isn't overly complicated until you're talking about the weak side shot. So if I'm holding my bow with my left hand, my weak side shot's going to be 1 or 2 o'clock. A couple different ways guys can shoot that. So I want to show you how this platform enables you to do that. The first way you can shoot over there is by standing up on the platform. And this platform's plenty big, so it gives you a pretty good ability to just stand straight up, have your tether come over your shoulder, and shoot those shots like a tree stand. Some guys love that method. Some guys aren't comfortable with the rope coming up over their shoulder, or they think it's a lot of movement, so they don't prefer to do that. But that's an option, and it's very easy to do on this platform due to the platform size. The second option is to use the platform to pivot around the tree. And this platform has a feature that enables you to do that quite easily, and it works very good. So on the back side of the platform, there's kind of a triangle built into the platform. And if you put your boot right there, you can push off of the platform and really position to take any kind of shot around the tree. You have to be careful though to not put your boot toward the back of the platform. If you push off from behind the bolt, it'll cause the platform to fold up a little bit. So let me show you this. If I wanted to shoot to 1 or 2 o'clock by doing that, I'm just going to come around the side of the platform here. I'm going to move my boot into that triangle so that the pressure of my boot is into this triangle. Now I've got a very comfortable place from which I can push off and shoot to 1, 2, 3 o'clock, take those weak side shots very easily. And you can see with my boot into that triangle, it's very stable. Now I can do the same thing on the other side. If I pivot around, I just make sure that my boot is into the triangle, and I can lean out and shoot weak side shots very easily just by using that to position with. Now, one thing you gotta be careful with though is that you don't push on the back of the platform. So if I move my foot, hopefully you can see this, if I move my foot farther back and push basically behind that bolt, the platform will fold up and rotate on you. So just be aware of that. You don't want to do that while you're trying to position, but as long as you keep the bulk of your pressure right in that V, you can position very easily and the platform will stay put and won't move a whole lot under the side pressure. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. I really like that feature because it allows you to push off from close to the tree. You know, the Predator has those tips and you're kind of pushing more out like this. And I really like this a whole lot more. To me, it's just more natural way to position around the tree. And I really like it. So that's another positive for the Cruzr Seeker platform. That being said, I think it handles really well on small trees after I flipped the bolt around. I'll give you some close-ups of that again, but that bolt seemed to make a big issue. It caused it to be unstable, but now that I've flipped the bolt, it seems to be handling side pressure very, very well. So I'm gonna climb down now, give you a few concluding thoughts about the Cruzr Seeker. All right, so what are my concluding thoughts about the Cruzr Seeker? Overall, I really like the platform. There's a few things that I kind of have hesitation about, but I think it's an excellent offering and I'm glad to see it on the market. I have mixed opinions about the weight. On the one hand, I tend toward minimalism, so a 4.5 pound, fairly large platform doesn't appeal to me in that sense, but it comes with some positives. It gives you a lot more real estate to stand up on. You can put your feet a little bit farther apart. If you like to turn around and stand on the platform for those weak side shots, it gives you that ability a lot easier than a smaller platform. So that's just gonna be a personal preference thing. I really like the slanted front. Like I said, I like to sit, and when I sit in the saddle, I like to have the platform flat. But if you're a leaner, you often like to have it angled down a little bit. Well, this platform to me is the best of both worlds. A leaner can still primarily angle it down if they like to, but for a guy like me who sits maybe 80–90% of the time and occasionally leans on the edge of the platform, I like this design because when I'm leaning, it spreads out my body weight across the surface area a lot more than just being on the edge of the platform. It's a whole lot more comfortable to lean on than just leaning on the edge of the platform. And so I think that feature is a home run and is going to give guys a lot of flexibility to have the slant combined with the flat top. The one thing I'm really kind of torn about though are these little traction knobs. I kind of like them in theory, having the extra grip for my boot, but in reality you saw that when I pivot my boot on it, they had a tendency to kind of pop and crackle and make noise, and the rubber just snapped off of there, and I wasn't a big fan of that. And I don't want to be thinking about what I'm doing and how I'm moving my feet when I'm positioning for a shot and a deer's coming in. So, and to be honest with you, I'm not overly concerned about traction. I have a lot of confidence in my saddle, and when I'm tethered into it, I put a lot of weight into it. And even if I were to slip on my platform, I'm not going very far. And I've never had a slip like that in my Predator with less traction. So I could probably, do away with the traction knobs, or at least maybe reduce their height a little bit, and I think that would be helpful. But the one feature I really like about this platform is this V right here. Hopefully you saw that in the portion where I showed you how you can use that to position around the tree. That is a really, really nice feature, and it's just more prominent than we've seen on a couple of other platforms on the market. And man, it is nice to be able to use that to position around the tree, much like you would a ring of steps for 360-degree shooting. So I think they hit it out of the park with that feature. Overall, guys, I think it's an excellent platform, especially for you who aren't concerned about the size of it. It's an excellent offering, and I'm not hesitating at all to recommend it to you. Just keep those few things in mind that I pointed out. Once again, thanks for watching. I try to do these reviews as honest and straightforward as I can, and I hope that comes across. If you like those kind of reviews, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe. Once again, thanks for your support, and thanks for watching.